Critical reflection is an ongoing dynamic process. It requires teachers to think about all aspects of their planning, how children are progressing, and their pedagogical practices to ensure that they support learning for all children. Supporting teachers to reflect, analyse and explore new ideas and evidence-based approaches as part of daily practice is how school leaders support quality improvement in kindergarten programs. Allowing time for reflection ensures inclusive and equitable outcomes for children and strengthens continuity of learning between kindergarten and prep.
I think any school that is a state delivered kindy will be able to tell you that there are definite challenges about incorporating kindy into a curriculum in a school. I guess some of the critical reflections often around that improvement and how do you keep improving on your practice so that we are delivering a quality kindergarten experience for the kids in that early years space. So critical reflection around our practice, critical reflection around your processes and your policies, making sure that there's that element of compliance, that you're always going to be meeting the compliance issues that exist in the kindy space and your school space as well. But that critical reflection we use to really look at quality improvements.
The critical reflection comes down to your understanding of your students and how they've interacted with the program that you've created. And it's that what worked, what didn't work, and why. And if you can sort of answer the why it worked or didn't work, you know your students, and then you can then look at that planning and say, yeah, you're right, they didn't want to do that today for whatever reason, and then you can readjust your planning and move on.
Critical reflection to me is analysing our teaching to make sure it's catering to the needs of the kids. And then it's critical reflection on the kids too. What do they need support with? What do they need help with? What can I write about to see progress in them? As
teachers and as principals, we talk to each other, quite regularly. We come together, we have our own learning space where we meet and talk. And then principals have a cluster meeting where they get together once a term and we go to a different school. And part of that involves a walkthrough through the school. So you're always walking around looking at what ideas can I share and what ideas can I pinch. But just that being willing to reach out and speak to those people around you. And I don't think I've ever come across anyone who's, no, I'm too busy to talk to you.
We work hard, amongst our cluster of schools, with linking in and having visits. So our kindy staff, visit the other SDKs that are within, a day's drive to sort of visit and, share practice and build capability.
I've seen it when the kids come up to prep.
Going on a scavenger hunt and finding some shape.
The kids do fantastic, and it's a great transition being in the prep room for when they do start prep the next year. They know the routines, they know the teachers, they know the school. They don't have to find their way around the school. They already know how it runs.
They meet him where he's at in his learning journey. Instead of trying to push him to keep up with the other kids, they get down on his level, find out where he's at and support him where he needs to be.
We also then look at what needs to be continued because an activity doing once is an activity. You do it more than once, then it's continued learning.
Children are at the centre of school curriculum decision-making. School leaders and teachers engage in a continuous cycle of critical reflection on teaching and learning and pedagogical practices to strengthen teaching and learning in kindergarten. For more information about critical reflection, visit the Australian Children's Education and Care Quality Authority website.